I don't even like the word retirement because, there is something associated with when people retire and they don't have a plan, there's some mortality statistics on that. There has to be a plan for people to move the needle.
Hey, Wellness Warriors, Antoinette Lee here, host of New Normal Big Life. The moment you've been waiting for is live. New Normal Big Life 2025, Grit-Fueled Wellness Revolution. The official companion ebook to our biggest, boldest season yet is out now, and it's 100% free. This isn't some fluffy recap, it's a battle plan. Every game-changing guest quote, every pro tip and wellness warrior takeaway, plus brand new science and step-by-step action plans that turn what you heard on the podcast into real results in your body, mind, and life. 3 powerhouse chapters, 41 episodes distilled, 0 medical gatekeeping, all actionable grit. Claim your free copy right now in less than 20 seconds. Subscribe at nnbl.blog. When you grab the ebook, you also unlock weekly expert drops straight to your inbox in 2026, first access to new episodes, exclusive brand new behind-the-scenes warrior updates from me. 2025 proved you're done being dismissed. 2026 is your year to rise stronger, clearer, and unstoppable. Download your free copy now at nnbl.blog. If you've already subscribed, your copy is on the way to your inbox. Let's make 2026 the year medicine catches up to you. See you inside the book and on the next episode. Hi, friends. Welcome to the New Normal Big Life podcast. We're bringing you natural and integrative health information and stories about nature that we hope will inspire you to get outside and adventure, along with a step-by-step plan to help you practice what you've learned, create your own new normal, and live the biggest life you can dream. I'm your host, Antoinette Lee, the Wellness Warrior. Let's get into today's topic. Turning 60 doesn't mean slowing down. It's a chance to thrive. Alison McCune Davis, author of 60 is a Good Start, inspires individuals to embrace aging with vitality. Turning 60 is a new beginning, not a closing chapter, Davis declares, offering a roadmap to vitality through 3 core principles: bodywork, brainwork, and worldwork. Alison, welcome to New Normal Big Life.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I've been having lots of conversations with seniors in my family lately about retirement. Most have already retired, and it seems like one of the spouses always has a plan, and the other spouse is just racked with anxiety because they don't know what they're going to do now that they've retired. Have you had any experience like that in your family or with clients that you're working with?
I don't even like the word retirement, quite honestly. I'm kind of more like, let's say we're doing something different. There is something associated with, when people retire and they don't have a plan, there's some mortality statistics on that. So it's not good. So it's definitely a time to just change. People at this age, I have found, particularly the women I've talked to for me, it was 60. I was just like, I wasn't thinking about retiring. I was just like, this is this new stage of my life. I started having kids later than normal, 37 with my first, adopted our 5th when I was 50. So I've really kind of been later and on the spectrum of age there. And so it was 60 that I just sort of kind of was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And felt things were shifting. My whole life was changing.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. So the 60-day DARE focuses on 3 core principles: bodywork, brainwork, and worldwork. Can you explain how these 3 pillars work together to help individuals thrive in their 60s and beyond?
Yes. So the book is called 60 is a Good Start, and it leads us to what I call the 60-day DARE. That title, 60 is a Good Start, has a double meaning. Number one, I was 60 when I decided to write it. And for a lot of reasons. 30 years of studying natural health, a fascination with longevity, but also my background as a producer for the first 20 years of my career, and then TV producer, and then a homeschool mom for the next 20 years. Those 2 jobs required an ability and a skill set of planning and organizing. That was like the main thing, so I got really good at that. And so when I decided to write this book, I was like, well, I can spit a lot of information out, but there has to be a plan for people to move the needle, for people to improve their lives little by little. I always say baby steps. And so that led to also, well, the book leading to the 60-day dare. And so that second reason for the title, 60 is a good start, is that it takes us at least 60 days to create a new habit. And we know that because neuroscientists have looked in the brain at the nerve cells in the brain, and they can literally see habit formation on the dendritic spines of the cell. It looks like a little umbrella when it's completely formed. That might be 60 days, it might be 8 months, probably at the most, but 60 is a good start, right? So this is going to lead us to the 60-day dare, where we are going to engage in these longevity practices that multiple studies have said are key and vital for us to live a long, good life. And they're just good for a good life. I mean, whatever age anybody is. The framework are these three pillars: body work, brain work, and world work. And there's the big five in each one. And the idea is that you're going to choose something in each of those categories from the big five that you're going to do for 60 days. So, for instance, we just finished a 60-day dare last week. And for me, I did two things out of body work and one thing out of brain work and one thing out of world work. But in body work, we're talking about the physical body. So we're talking about, what are we eating? What's our nutrition look like? Well, what I did for 60 days was I decided I'm going to eat 30 grams of protein before I eat anything else in the day. And that had been hard for me to do before. I just wasn't doing it. I know it's important, but I don't know. It just was hard. So I was like, that's what I'm doing. And it's been fantastic, I have to say. And then, so also there's drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day, at least that much. And, if a person's not in the habit of doing that, it's so easy to go. Honestly, it's easy to go a whole day with no water. If you're drinking coffee and then Coke or tea or whatever, and there's a statistic about over 50% of ER visits are solved with hydration. So water's huge. Move your body is the third one in body work, where some sort of exercise, and at this age in later life, strength training is strength training and walking are the two things. If I had to pick one, it would be strength training, because we have got to have muscles to keep mobility going into the later years. So there's all kinds of variations you can do on that, but you're going to do something every day of the week, right? And then sleeping, are we good in good sleep? We've got all kinds of ways to get better sleep. We need at least 7 to 9 hours. That's number one for healing any issues, healing, the brain, just getting the toxins out, all that stuff. And then breathing, like a deep breathing session, which people are like, really, breathing? Yes. That's a real simple way to do something real good for your body. Those are the big five in body work.
Those are great practical tips that people can start making today. Yes. And I really love that you're talking about half your body weight in ounces of water, because a lot of people still believe I only need to drink water if I'm thirsty, or I only need to drink 8 ounces. And there's this belief that if you drink half your body weight in ounces of water, will deplete your electrolytes. And
that's just not true. I mean, if you drank, 2 gallons of water, maybe, but you want your pee to be like a very pale straw color. And if it's not that, if it's darker yellow, then you're not drinking enough water. But that's kind of a good way to look at it. I did a deal before I started all this, where I drank a gallon of water a day for like 75 days.
How did that go for you?
I was doing this challenge that had 5 parts to it, and that was the water part. And at first I thought, this is too much water. This is not good. And some people were like, no, you're going to be fine. So I was like, okay. And I loved it. I can't tell, like, I had some things on my face, like some spots, and whatever's on our skin's really a reflection of our gut health. But they went away, and I know it was the water was the reason, so I did it. And I'll tell you what, the three times that I found or that were the times I could really drink a lot were first thing in the morning. We may not feel like it, but we are dehydrated. And then after two workouts, which we also had to do two workouts in that, and that was a lot. But those, and then other than that, it had to, stay with me like all the time. If you don't have your water with you, and maybe set yourself up for the day with your water bottles so you can just grab them.
I love refillable water bottles, and I always have a water bottle with me. People actually make fun of me
I know.
because
Same.
I always have water.
Yeah. That's the only way you're going to get enough in.
I love that you talk about breathing. Oh, I have a whole podcast episode coming up on how most people in the world, especially people in Western cultures, breathe all wrong.
All wrong.
And not only is it harming your facial structure, but your body. And so
Yes.
we'll be talking about that soon. In brain work, you highlight mental wellness through activities like journaling, which I love, and positive self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
How do people help shift, or how do you help people shift from negative inner dialogue to a mindset that fosters growth and optimism? And I really love that you're talking about optimism, because so many people, for good reason, the world is a very different and confusing place, and
Yeah.
you could feel very hopeless, especially if you spend too much time on social media.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
please dive deep into optimism. It's so
Yeah.
important.
It is. Well, and brain work, I'll just say, is the mental, emotional, spiritual side of us. So it's that inner brain stuff. And I think, we have to think about what is going into our senses, what's going into our eyes, what's going into our ears. Sometimes one of the exercises I like people to do, and I've done, is like it's like a food log, right? Write everything you ate today, like write it down. Because we don't pay attention. We're like, oh, I don't know what I ate, yesterday. But when you start doing that, you become aware of what's happening in your life. Well, the same thing with a time log. What are you doing all day long? And then really thinking about what is going into the eyes and the ears, the people you're around, the stuff you're looking at on your phone, on TV, what are you listening to? And those things, I believe, we have to make an effort for all of those things to be uplifting because, the world's a rough place. And so we've got to I know for years, for decades, I am constantly listening to a podcast, that's informing me on something, that's educating me on something, that's something positive. I'm learning something. And so it's a process. Several of these things in brain work go to that. Number one is writing. So maybe you're a person who's just got so much in your head, you need to get it out on paper. That process of just doing a brain download every morning or every day, just all the things that are going on, just write it down. And then sometimes maybe there's trauma that you're still dealing with that you need to deal with. You're like, oh, I don't want to, but it's so much better when you do, and it's not terrible to do. Of course, therapy is going to be great, but even just journaling and writing out what happened, how do you feel? Just that can be a great start to processing, going through that whole process. Reading, number two in the big five, is it's got to be nonfiction. So something that's uplifting, something that's improving you somehow. Could be business improvement. Just when you have the intention of these things regularly, it is going to start to change your mindset. Well, let me just tell you one thing, a story. So before I decided to write the book, I turned 60 and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? I was restless. I was like, I've been teaching women about natural health for like the last decade, but I just needed something different. And I still love that, but I needed something different. Something I could sink my teeth into for the next 5 to 10 years. And so I thought, I'm gonna have to say yes to a few things that may not be the thing, but they're going to lead me to the thing. I just kind of had that sense. Well, the first thing I did was I got into this Facebook group, this guy sold a big year-long calendar, and his whole thing was he wanted you to create a Masogi for the year. So it was, which is a Japanese word for a life-changing event, something that was going to challenge you, something that you were going to remember. Oh, I did that in 2021. I climbed that mountain, or you know, lost some weight, or I repaired a relationship, or wrote a book, or I did a podcast, or whatever the thing was. And so in this group, and for like 4 months, I was just looking at all these people. I didn't know any of them. They were all ages, male and female. But the thing about this group was what these people were writing was all this fun stuff they were doing, all this exciting stuff. They were really living their life, right? And so finally, I'm like, I don't know what my Masogi is going to be, but this girl pops up one day and she says, I'm going to do 75 hard starting tomorrow. Does anyone want to join me? That was the challenge I was mentioning earlier. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had listened to the guy describing that challenge 4 months ago. And I thought, there's no way I can do that. I'm not his target market. He's a big muscular tattooed guy. And I can't do that. It's too hard. Well, 4 months later, I had been in that group just lurking, just looking at what people were saying. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that. So I listened to it again in this one day, and I thought, I think I can arrange my life to do that. And I did. And the only thing that changed was my mindset. I was listening to and reading people talking about doing all these fun and exciting things and ideas they had, and just that they were just really living life well. And, so that was such an example, I feel like, of just what I was putting into my eyes and ears of this little Facebook group. It makes a difference. We are the 5 people we hang out with. Well, are they going to pull us down? Are they going to lift us up? Are they supporting us? And that goes, may not be 5 actual people. It may be these 2 or 3 people, and then that show, and then that podcast, and then that group. And I think we have to just make sure we're surrounding ourselves with uplifting, positive things. And you have to make an effort to do that.
Quick heads up, wellness warriors. I don't let just anyone into this mic time. The only sponsors I ever bring on are products that I plan to use, personally use, swear by, and that have legitimately moved the needle on my health and my family's. No fluff, no fillers, no junk. So if you're serious about leveling up your energy, sleep, recovery, skin, whatever your goal is, do not bounce early. Stay to the very end of this episode. I'm dropping some of my absolute ride or die brands and exactly how they've helped me feel unstoppable. These aren't random ads. They're tools I stake my name on. You'll thank me later. Keep it locked. We're going all the way to the finish line together. Before we cover the next topic in this episode, I want to introduce you to adventure sports lifestyle with what I call a microstory about an adventure that I've had. The adventure sports lifestyle and my deep connection to nature is essential to my good health. So here's the story. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. So I got out the paddle board, and my favorite, one of my favorite adventure buddies, Phoebe Dog, I put her on the board. I didn't even need to give her a command to jump on. She jumped right on the paddleboard and off we went. Do you know what we did? We got on the river, paddled down river, seeing fish and plant life and all the wonders of nature as we paddled to a friend's house. I did that. My friend was so excited to see me pull up at her pier, even though I blew up her husband's fishing spot for a few minutes because I chased all the fish away. But it was nice to have a visit. They were happy to see us, and Phoebe and I paddled back home. I hope this inspires you to get outside and adventure in an RV, your car for camping, or a tent, or maybe on a paddleboard with friends, alone, or the people you love most. Now back to the show where we're talking with Alison McCune Davis. Alison, can you share a story of someone from your program who found renewed purpose or strengthened community ties through the 60-day dare?
Well, we just actually did our first program, our beta test, and it just ended a few days ago. So we're still kind of talking to people about, how it went. But I do know that a number of them, and I've just talked to other people in the same situation who have had changes. So Worldwork is your purpose and your relationships. It's your outer world. And in the 60-day dare, with body work and brain work, you're going to choose one thing and you're going to do it for 60 days, every day for 60 days. With world work, you can rotate through the big five or one or more of the big five, just as you think your life needs each week. For the person who was like I was, like restless, didn't know what I wanted to do at this point in my life. The first one's called Dream, and there are 60 dream questions, I call them, where you're going to journal your answer to each one per day. It just take you probably a couple minutes. Some will take longer. But I think those questions are going to lead you down the path of what you should or want to be doing at this point in your life. Then second one's Engage, which, there's a lot of people that at this point in life are lonely. And, they divorce or widow or kids are all gone and they used to be there or, just multiple scenarios. And maybe the person's even an introvert too, but they don't have to be, and so they're lonely. And, for some of those people, they're going to have to make an effort to engage with others. And that might just be, message somebody, hey, you want to go get coffee Tuesday, or go out to dinner, or come over, or just something. Or maybe it's, I'm going to call my brother that lives across the country I haven't talked to in a year, or just keep those connections. They're even saying now that with longevity, that might be the number one factor are relationships, positive, good relationships.
We just did a podcast episode on the epidemic of loneliness. So I'm so glad you're tackling this question, because a lot of people just go through life not even realizing that they're lonely, or they think that if I don't feel lonely on a conscious level, then I'm not lonely and I don't need to seek out face-to-face interactions with other human beings.
Yes, they can. And I get it. I consider myself an outgoing introvert. When I say introvert, extrovert, it's like, how are you energized? So for me, I'm energized by having enough alone time, being able to do those individual activities or just time alone. Whereas an extrovert's energized by being around people. So for an introvert, it's just real easy to sit around and do, those alone things and sort of forget about, I really need, now I don't forget because I've still got a husband here. I've got 2 kids here that are, going to the local college, and then one's still in high school. So I'm definitely not alone, but I certainly can see how it is a huge, huge issue, and an effort just has to be made.
Yeah. Well, there's also the ambivert, and I'm an ambivert. I am naturally extroverted for very short periods of time during the day, and then I need to be alone to just kind of regroup and decompress.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So some other ones, there's a spiritual component, that all these long people that live long were part of a spiritual community. Could be a small group, could be a church, just so maybe gather. It's called Gather. So maybe you gather with those people like weekly would be great. Volunteering's an incredible area to figure out what you might want to do at this. But I'm like, make sure you want to do that volunteer activity and you're not getting sucked in, right? Because there's always someone else that does want to do that. I think people can feel guilty about not doing something that they think they should do. But I think the thing that your heart wants is what you should be doing. And then if you know what you're doing, you're going to spend some time doing that. So those are the 5 that you could do, one or more than one per week. And yeah, I am seeing people, one lady thinking about in particular that went through the dream questions, and I think when she started, she was kind of depressed about being this age in her life. I think she's 60, 61. And now I know she's excited about it. I'm not quite sure. I haven't talked to her in detail in person or anything like that about finding what she's going to do, but I know she's a lot happier about where she is in life now. So that's exciting.
Well, Alison, I don't want to embarrass you, but for listeners, please go take a look either on my social media or on YouTube, because not only does Alison sound vibrant and her life is vibrant, but she looks so vibrant and so youthful.
Oh, thank
And
you.
if this program and book is any indication that if you follow the steps that you will look this beautiful and vibrant, then I'm all in.
Wowza. Thank you. You're sweet.
Alison, what else would you like listeners to know about embracing their 60s as a launch pad for a purposeful, vibrant life?
I love the line, your future is hidden in your daily routine. And I never used to be like be consistent kind of person. I feel like I was the opposite of that, honestly. I'd go all in on something real intensely and then I'd do something different, But really, we have to ask ourselves, who do we want to be a year from now? What kind of person? Or 5 years from now? And that is going to be whatever we're doing daily. And it's just the little things. And it just takes a little intentionality of, figuring those things out. And so I love that, we're trying to move that needle for people. We have an online group that people can join, but move that needle for people to take those baby steps to just that's what's going to make the difference.
Alison, this has been so insightful. Thank you so much for being on New Normal Big Life.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Listeners, you can find links to Alison's social media, how to buy her book, and join her program in the show description. All right, Wellness Warriors, this is Antoinette Lee, your Ride or Die host, signing off for now, but I'm not letting you disappear on me. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central, I'm pouring virtual coffee in the cabin on X Spaces, formerly Twitter, and I'm saving a seat just for you. We laugh, we argue, we unpack the latest episode, and we tackle whatever fire is burning in your world right now. No gatekeeping, no fake niceness, just real talk with real people wanting to connect and who are done being dismissed by the sick care system. Join us at 10 a.m. Central, 8 Pacific, 9 Mountain, 11 Eastern. The X-Space link drops every Tuesday, so turn on notifications for NNBL blog right now so you never miss it. Raise your hand to jump on the mic, listen in the shadows, or just sip coffee with us. Every single option is welcome. I can't wait to hear your voice in the cabin. See you Wednesday, Wellness Warriors. Don't keep me waiting. Magnesium, an unsung hero, fuels over 300 bodily reactions, from heart health to stress relief. Magnesium expert Natalie Girardo, founder of Rooted In, found freedom from anxiety, insomnia, and pain through topical magnesium. It transformed my life, she says, inspiring her mission to share this mineral's power. Cardiologist Dr. Jack Wolfson calls magnesium essential for heart health, helping regulate rhythms, blood sugar, and reduce inflammation. Up to 80% of people may be deficient, facing issues like depression, migraines, insomnia, or muscle cramps. For women over 40, magnesium eases menopause symptoms, boosts energy, and supports bones. Choosing the correct type of magnesium matters. Real stories, Natalie's and mine, highlight its impact. After interviewing magnesium expert Natalie Girardo, I became a customer. I was already a magnesium fan, having been told by 2 cardiologists to take magnesium for a minor heart arrhythmia. Natalie explains it best in the Magnesium, the Mineral Transforming Lives episode of New Normal Big Life podcast. Fast forward after the interview, I bought the Rooted In bundle for sleep, tranquility, and pain relief. As a spine injury survivor with several other health challenges, I'm in constant pain. However, I don't take any pain medication. Rooted In is now one more source that nature provided to give our bodies what it needs when it needs it. You can find magnesium in natural bodies of water like lakes and rivers and in soil. But modern farming practices have stripped magnesium out of the soil and our food. That's why today, Rooted In's rest, relief, and tranquility are part of our afternoon and nightly sleep routine. My guy who did 2 tours kicking indoors in Iraq with the Marines now has no trouble falling asleep. I no longer have to take melatonin before bedtime to fall asleep. So after I became a customer and saw how well these products worked, I applied to become an affiliate. I've been sharing the secrets of Rooted In with friends and family from age 38 to 68, and everyone has gotten amazing results within minutes of applying the cream. Do something naturally good for yourself. Get Rooted In. Click my affiliate link in the episode description to shop now. When you're planning an adventure camping, rafting, RVing, or mountaineering, You'll need quality food with sufficient vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to fuel your adventure. My partner, Ready Hour, is here to help you ahead of time. Ready Hour has a long history of providing calorie-rich, reliable, and delicious nourishment for life's unexpected situations and adventures. They're part of a family of companies that have served millions of people like you for decades. My family and I use Ready Hour products for camping, mountaineering, and disaster preparedness for 5 years now. They're not just reliable, they're also your affordable option too. Long-term storable food shouldn't break the bank. That's why they have great sales and payment options for you. It's your bridge to safety and survival when you're on an adventure. So make your next decision your smartest decision. Be ready for adventure tomorrow, today. Trust Ready Hour. Ready to shop? Use my affiliate link in the show description.
The information in this podcast is not medical advice and should not be treated as such. Always consult your physician or healthcare professional before pursuing any health-related procedure or activity.